Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Can you hear me okay, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you just fine. So I will start with a brief introduction and then we can start the class.
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay with me. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to the today class of Glories of Srila Haridas Thakur. Today is also the disappearance day of Srila Haridas Thakur. Srila Haridas Thakur is also known as Namacharya, is a revered saint in Gaudiya Vaishnava. He is considered the teacher of the holy name and an eternal associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally designated him as a Namacharya and showed him immense respect and affection. So before we start the class, I'd like to give a brief introduction of our today's speaker. Our today's speaker is disciple of His Holiness Hanmaswami Maharaj. Prabhuji current services include preaching and deity worship at ISKCON Houston and studying and teaching the Bhakti Shastri course through ISKCON Connecticut and acting as a director and secretary of North America Institute of Oriental Classical Studies. So on behalf of ISKCON Bhagavad Mahavidyalaya, North America, I'd like to welcome our today's speaker, His Grace, Srinivas Acharya Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Ishwara Krishna Prabhu, for inviting me. And our devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. Our blessed Srila Prabhupada. Prabhu, I would like to share a small presentation.
Yes, Prabhu, please let me. So yeah, you should be able to share it, right?
Not yet. I think you spotlighted me, but not made me.
Okay, just give me a second.
Yeah, go post it. All right, I think that's actually. Okay, do you see the presentation? Do you see my screen, Prabhu? You're on mute.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll do a brief Acharya and we'll start. Om Ajnanatmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuratam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Gunrangayate Girim Yakripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Vishnu Preshthaya Bhuvitale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitanamine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so today, as Prabhu has mentioned, it is the disappearance day of Srila Haridas Thakura, and mostly we will talk about the disappearance pastime of Srila Haridas Thakur. So I will start with a small prayer to Srila Haridas Thakur. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Leela. chapter number 11 of the Anjalila, very first verse. And this verse is offering obeisances to Sri Haridas Thakur. Namami Haridasam tam Chaitanyam tam Chatat Prabhum Samstitam api Murtim Swanke Kritva Nanartayah. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Haridas Thakur and his master Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who danced with the body of Haridas Thakur on his lap. So we can see here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is holding the body of Sri Haridas Thakur. And the devotees are dancing. We will talk more about this pastime in subsequent slides. So it is mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavata that Haridas Thakur appeared in the village of Budana, and this is in the present day Bangladesh, and not much information is given about more details about his childhood. So it is said he stayed there for some time, and then he later moved to the bank of the Ganges at Pulia. This is near Shantipura, where Advaita Acharya lived initially. So when Advaita Acharya had the association of Haridas Thakur, it is said that he roared in unlimited ecstasy. And similarly, in the association of Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur floated in the waves of the ocean of Krishna consciousness. So we have many pastimes of Srila Haridas Thakur that we have heard, a lot of you must have heard as well. So the life of Haridas Thakur is interesting. It's very, very inspiring. Haridas Thakur faced so many challenges in life. We face challenges in life. But his attitude towards those troubles, excuse me, his attitude is not like a common man. When we have problems, we feel depressed, we give up on what we want to do, we deviate on the process that we are following. But the life of Haridas Thakur is so inspiring that he is very determined in his Krishna consciousness, and his faith is so deep like an ocean, unshaken faith. And he's so humble and gentle that he would not hurt anybody. Unparalleled humility. In fact, Haridas Thakur is compared to 3 different Mahajanas. We have 12 Mahajanas, Swayambhu, Narada, Shambhu, Kumaro, Kapilo, Manu, Prahlado, Janako, Bhishmo, Balil, Vaiyasakir, Vayam. The last Vayam means Yamaraja, who is the one who is speaking. And Swayambhu means Lord Brahma, because Brahma doesn't have any material father and mother. So he's called Swayambhu, self-manifested. He appeared from the lotus flower that sprouted from the navel of Lord Vishnu. So Brahma, and another Mahajana is Prahlada, and another one is Bhishma. So he's compared to these 3 Mahajanas. Out of these 3, Haridas Thakur is considered to be an incarnation of Lord Brahma. So when Haridas Thakur came to Pulia, he attracted so many people. many Brahmanas were inspired by his determination in chanting the holy names. But eventually there were some envious people as well. And they complained to the Qazi. Qazi complained to the king. And the king has sent men to arrest Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur, when people came to arrest him, he was not shaken. He did not resist arrest. He simply went with those men fearlessly. He fearlessly accompanied them to the court of the king. And when he was being taken to the prison, the people who were inside the prison, they knew Haridas Thakur. They heard the glories of Haridas Thakur to be a great saint. So then they thought, if we meet Haridas, then we will be free from our miserable situation, the pains of this prison life. So they expressed their desire to the prison guards, and we want to see Haridas Thakur. So when Haridas Thakur went there, he told the prisoners, actually you are in this prison, you are restricted from material enjoyment. And this situation is favorable for worshipping Lord Krishna. And when we worship Lord Krishna, that means we are really, really free. That's a true independence and that's a true freedom. Meaning the true freedom is the freedom from entanglement from this material conditioning, which forces us to enjoy the objects of senses, to enjoy this material world. So Haridas Thakur told them, you're free from the temptations of trying to enjoy this material world. So you can take shelter of Krishna's holy name. He preached to them. He was taken to the king. The king asked Haridas, you are born in such a great religion, the Muslim religion. Why did you take up this Hindu religion? And Haridas Thakur said, Supreme Lord is one. And he belongs to everybody. It's not that Hindu or Muslim. There's one Supreme Lord who belongs to everyone. And that Lord is situated in everybody's heart. And by seated in our heart, he inspires a sincere soul to approach him. And the Lord has inspired me to worship him through chanting of this holy name. And this is what I'm attracted to. And the king wasn't happy. He told Haridas, you should accept Islamic faith. And if you don't, you'll be severely punished. And Haridas Thakur said, you can punish me in whatever way you want. You can cut my body into pieces. Even if the life air leaves my body, I cannot stop chanting the holy name of the Lord. But that's my constitutional duty, is to chant the holy name of Krishna. So then the Qazi orders Haridas Thakur to be beaten up in 22 marketplaces. And Haridas Thakur was taken one marketplace, two marketplaces, being beaten up severely. And the sinful men of the king, the soldiers who were beating him up, they were getting tired. And Haridas Thakur was constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord. However, the people who were watching this, they were not happy. They were secretly cursing the king and the soldiers. Some of them were coming and begging the soldiers not to hurt Haridas. Some of them were bringing some money from their homes and trying to bribe the soldiers, take this money, but please do not beat the saint. And some of them were feeling maybe they should get the beatings, but not Haridas Thakur. But these miscreants won't stop. And it is explained in Chaitanya Bhagavata that Haridas Thakur was exactly like Prahlad Maharaj. He was completely absorbed in the ecstatic chanting of the holy name. Just like Prahlad Maharaj was put through so many sufferings. He was tortured in so many different ways. Every possible torturing mechanism that may exist, it was tried upon Prahlad Maharaj. But he didn't complain. He took it and he kept on chanting and chanting and chanting. And then those sinful miscreants, when they became so exhausted and tired and their hands were hurting that they cannot raise their whip anymore. Their hands were hurting. And all the while Haridas Thakur was praying to the Lord. He was praying that these sinful men may not incur the reaction for what they are doing. He was praying for their well-being. So they pleaded with Haridas Thakur. And the king said, if we don't kill you, he will kill us. In other words, they are telling him, can you please die? So Haridas Thakur, he entered into deep meditation and he appeared to be dead. So then they took what appeared to be the dead body of Haridas Thakur to the king. And the king said, okay, now go bury his body. The Qazi was so envious of Haridas Thakur. He said, no. If Haridas Thakur is buried, he may get Jannat. He may get higher destination. You just throw his body into the Ganges. He should neither be buried like Muslims or cremated like Hindus. He should just be thrown into the Ganges. So his body was thrown into the Ganges. But Haridas Thakur was in deep samadhi. And his body was actually being controlled by the Lord himself. Because he was not feeling any pains from these beatings. Later in Mahaprakash Leela, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reveals his form, he speaks to each and individual devotee. And he tells that devotee how in their difficult times he was there with them. And when it is Haridas Thakur's turn, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls Haridas Thakur and says, Haridas, do you remember you were beaten in 22 marketplaces? And I was there with you. I never left you alone. And see, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows his back. On the back of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the marks of all the beatings from the whip. And Haridas Thakur was crying, and with a grateful heart, he was glorifying the Lord for being with him. And he was feeling bad that the Lord has taken this. So it is said Krishna will tolerate anything upon him, but not on his devotees. He was always there to protect Haridas Thakur. So he came again back, regained his consciousness when he was thrown in the Ganges. And he came to the village of Pulia, loudly chanting the holy names of Krishna. And then all the Mohammedans, the Muslims, they accepted Haridas Thakur to be a great prophet, a saint. And the king also realized his mistake, begged for forgiveness, and he said Haridas Thakur could unrestrictedly chant the holy names of the Lord and wander anywhere in his kingdom. So we see that there's a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam in chapter 18 of Canto 1, when Parikshit Maharaj was cursed, he was not inclined to avenge, to take revenge, or even to reverse the situation that he was put into. So it is said in that context, Tiraskrita vipralabdha shakta kshipta hata api nasyatat pratikurvanti tad bhaktha prabhavopihi. The devotees of the Lord, they're so tolerant, forbearing, that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves. Tad bhaktaha, the devotees of the Lord. Now we may think Haridas Thakur is a great saint, so he did not avenge. Parikshit Maharaj is a great saint. He did not avenge. But for us, it's difficult. But these incidents, historical incidents, can help us tolerate the situations that we have, which are in comparison to what Haridas Thakur, Prahlad Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj went through, is insignificant. So for our minute little situations, we can tolerate. Nobody is beating us in 22 marketplaces. We may have little difficulties. So we can try to tolerate by taking inspiration. If someone has defamed us, someone has cheated us, and they cursed us that bad things happen to you, they ignore us, they exclude us from parties or different gatherings. So little things we can learn to tolerate by the example of Srila Haridas Thakur. He never gave up chanting. He endured it so powerfully. So Haridas Thakur, very intimately connected with the holy name. I will touch upon that a little later on, the title that he got. So there are other pastimes of Haridas Thakur, such as Haridas Thakur was living in a cave, and many devotees would come to seek his association, to hear Krishna Katha. And more people were coming, and then they spotted a snake, poisonous snake. And not, it hasn't bitten, but just from the poison of that snake, there was burning sensation also on their bodies. So then they talked to some doctor, The doctor revealed that, yeah, there's a snake in here. From the poison, there is this burning sensation. You should all leave. Haridas Thakur should not stay in this cave. So then Haridas Thakur thought of, he wasn't personally bothered by it, but he did not want to give trouble to the devotees. So then he said, okay, I will leave this cave. Tomorrow I'll leave this cave. But as soon as he made that decision in front of everybody, that snake came out of his hole from the cave, and it just left the cave in front of all the devotees. And the Lord did not want to give trouble to Haridas. So he inspired the snake, because Krishna is present as Paramatma in everyone's heart. A pure devotee, he has no envy towards anybody. Therefore, through the connection of the Paramatma in the heart of that other living entity, there can be friendly relationship. We see even the example of Dhruva Maharaj. Once he became a pure devotee, his stepmother also gave up envy for him. So such is the situation of pure devotees. So the snake has left the cave. Another time, Haridas Thakur was in one person's home, rich man's home. He was there, and then a snake charmer, he was glorifying Krishna's pastimes. And as soon as Haridas Thakur heard Krishna's pastimes, so many ecstatic emotions have arisen in his body. He started shedding tears, hair standing on his and breathing heavily. And very soon he lost his consciousness and he fell on the ground. Because he had extreme attachment to Krishna. And seeing Haridas Thakur's ecstatic transformations in his body, many people started taking dust from Haridas' feet and putting it on their head and smearing it all over their bodies. And then after seeing this, there was mentioned as a low-class Brahmana, taken birth in Brahmana family, but not really having Brahmana qualities. Then he thought, I will also do the same thing and people will also glorify me. So then what he did, then he also started crying, imitating, and fell on the ground. But the snake charmer could understand the duplicity of this pseudo Brahmana. And the snake charmer picked up a stick and started beating this Brahman, and he immediately got up and ran away. The snake charmer said, see, this guy, I just beat him a little bit and he got up and ran away. So this guy is bogus. And Haridas Thakur is a true saint. So in this way, there were many pastimes of Haridas Thakur, and he inspired thousands and thousands and thousands of people to chant the holy name of the Lord. And there was one incident that's mentioned about the potency of the holy name. That even Nama Bhasa would give liberation. It will free one from sinful activities. The reactions of the sins from many, many lifetimes. There was a young Brahmana named Gopala Chakravarti. He was working along with Hiranya and Govardhan Majumdar, the father and uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami. So this Brahmana, so Haridas Thakur was glorifying the holy name, and this Brahmana did not like. And he rebuked Haridas Thakur. How is it possible? It takes many lifetimes to be able to be free from all the sins that we may have committed. How is it possible that just Namabhasa could free that person? What you are speaking is not true. It takes millions of births. Thakur told him, why are you doubtful? It said in the scriptures, if someone offenseless, even a glimpse of offenseless chanting of the holy name, that will liberate a person. And actually, for a true person who enjoys the transcendental bliss of bhakti, liberation is insignificant. And a devotee does not desire this liberation. And the enjoyment of liberation is just like a water in the footprint of a calf. Gopal Chakravarti became angry. He said, if one is not liberated by this Namabhasa, then I will cut off your nose. This Gopal Chakravarti is very handsome, beautiful Brahman. He had very good bodily features. So then Haridas Thakur said, sure, if through Namabhas liberation is not available, I will definitely cut off my nose. So then there was, because when Brahmana is harassing Haridas Thakur, Hiranya and Govardhan were not happy. Many of them were agitated. What this Brahmana is doing. This Balaram Acharya, who is Raghunath Das Goswami's his guru, who later helps Raghunath Das Goswami. Well, Raghunath Das Goswami works with him and eventually escapes. But he is also a devotee, Balaram Acharya. He chastised Gopal Chakravarti. You are a foolish logician. What do you know about bhakti? And because you insulted Haridas Thakur, some danger will be there in your life. So Haridas Thakur just walked away from that assembly. And the Majumdars told Gopal Chakravarti, I'm sorry, you can no longer be in the service that you are doing for us. So then they begged forgiveness from Haridas Thakur, the Majumdars. And eventually, within 3 days, this Brahmana, who had this beautiful body, he got leprosy. And his hands, the fingers on the hands and the toes, they started melting away. And his nose melted away. So in this way, whatever he wanted to do to Haridas Thakur, it happened to him. Of course, Haridas Thakur was not happy when he heard this. But he excused him. He just thought him as ignorant. But Krishna did not tolerate blasphemy that is happening to Haridas Thakur. So in this way, the glory of Haridas Thakur was very well known to the people at that time. So these are some of his pastimes. There are more, but we will go to the disappearance pastime. And also I want to mention that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, Haridas Thakur and Advaita Acharya were together with each other in the association of each other. It is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila, chapter 13, text 99, that at the time of the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaita Acharya Prabhu in his own house at Shantipura was in a pleasing mood. Taking Haridasa Thakura with him, he danced and loudly chanted Hare Krishna. But why they were dancing, no one could understand. And the purport Srila Prabhupada writes, it is understood that Advaita Prabhu at that time was in his own paternal house at Shantipura. Haridas Thakura frequently used to meet him. Coincidentally, therefore, he was also there, and upon the birth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, both of them immediately began to dance. But no one in Shantipura could understand why those two saintly persons were dancing. So this is the little bit of history how Haridas Thakur and Advaita Acharya had each other's association even before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So now the disappearance pastime. And this is described in the Antya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this is a little summary extract. In this chapter, it is described how Brahma Haridasa Thakura gave up his body with the consent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and how the Lord himself personally performed the funeral ceremony and carried the body to the sea. He personally entombed the body, covered it with sand, and erected a platform on the site. After taking a bath in the sea, he personally begged prasadam of Jagannath from shopkeepers and distributed prasadam to the assembled devotees. So we'll discuss a little more details. So one day, as we all know, Haridas Thakur, not only he was criticized like we have seen in the past times, he was attempted to be killed, trying to kill him. There were some envious people. Not only that, but in the social system at that time, it was so orthodox to the extent of not knowing niyamagraha, not knowing why the rules exist, and some of the made-up social rules. It was so strict that they would not accept a Muslim into their Hindu tradition. What to speak, if a Muslim sprinkles water on a Hindu, then the rest of the Hindus would consider that this man can no longer be a Hindu. And they used to convert people like that also, or forcibly make them eat cow meat. And that's it, you lost your religion. In that setting, Haridas Thakur was never accepted as a true Hindu because he was born in a Muslim family. And he was not allowed entry into the temples. But there were sincere Brahmanas, sincere Vaishnavas, that they would accept Haridas Thakur. The Vaishnavas would accept, some sincere Brahmanas would accept. But general society situation is that no, you are not allowed into temples. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living in Jagannath Puri, Haridas Thakur also goes to Jagannath Puri, is living there, and he lives under a tree. And he never went inside the Jagannath temple. And unfortunately, that's the case even now. The foreigners cannot go. Nobody can identify whether somebody is a Muslim or not these days, but definitely they can identify if someone is Indian or not. So he used to stay outside, and Haridas Thakur has become old. And he was lying down. He was so weak that he was lying down and chanting, softly chanting the holy name. And Govinda comes and brings him prasadam. And Haridas Thakur asks, what did you bring? What is this? And he says, I brought you Mahaprasadam of Jagannath. And Haridas Thakur, he said, oh, today I am fasting. I'm fasting. Oh, why are you fasting? Because I didn't finish my rounds. How can I eat? But you have brought prasadam, and I cannot neglect. The injunction is when you get Mahaprasadam, you have to take it. So therefore, he offered prayers to the prasadam and took very little bit. And Srila Prabhupada explains about this in the Bhagavad Gita, one of the purports also, that Haridas Thakur would not eat until he finished his rounds. So he says, as followers of this process of devotional service, we should be strict in our chanting. We can also make a vow that unless I finish certain number of rounds, I will not have breakfast. Unless I finish this many, I will not have lunch. Unless I finish this many, I will not have dinner. And I will not sleep until I finish all the rounds. Or you can do everything at a particular time. Depending on our strength, we can also take a vow. And that will help us regulate, from the example of Haridas Thakur. And also the way he took prasadam. Srila Prabhupada says, prasadam, it's a mercy of the Lord, it's a favor. It's not something that we demand, okay, it's there for my enjoyment. No, it is the mercy of the Lord. Krishna bada daya mare, kori bare jikpa jai. Krishna is so merciful. Swaprasadam ne dilabha. He gave us this prasadam to control the tongue. So it should be accepted just like Haridasa, accepted in the mode of reverence. That's how we should accept the prasadam. And in this very difficult condition, he is doing this. The next day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, probably Govinda must have informed him, Haridas' situation is like this, he is weak. And usually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he cannot go and have darshan in the Jagannath temple, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would personally come to give him darshan. The dark Krishna is in the temple, but the golden Krishna would come and see him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Haridas, Haridas, is everything all right? Are you well? And Haridas said, my body is okay, but my mind and intelligence are not well. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, then what's the problem? And Haridas Thakur says, I have a disease. What's the disease you have? Oh, my disease is that I cannot complete my rounds. That's what is bothering me. And Prabhupada says if one cannot complete the fixed number of rounds, he should be considered to be in a diseased condition of spiritual life. Right? So if someone asks us, how are you doing? Our identity is we are a spirit soul. And if we are not able to chant rounds properly, we should say, I'm diseased. If you are not able to complete the fixed number of rounds, that means Prabhupada says we are in a diseased condition of spiritual. So we cannot imitate Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur used to chant 300,000 holy names, but 192 rounds every day. And Prabhupada says we cannot imitate Haridas Thakur. And Prabhupada, in one of the purports, he writes that why he has given 16 number of rounds. He said because the Westerners, they feel burdened. That's why I said minimum of 16 rounds. And Prabhupada said they should be chanted loudly so that one can hear himself. So when we chant the holy name, we should chant loud enough so that we can hear the holy names. And that's what Prabhupada explains in this particular pastime. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Haridas Thakur, Haridas, you're already liberated. You don't need to follow all these regulative principles strictly. You can reduce your number of rounds. You're chanting so many rounds. You can reduce your rounds. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally says, you have incarnated as Namavatara. Sorry, you are an avatara as Namacharya. Tomara avatara. You preached so much. You have sufficiently preached the glories of the holy name. You incarnated to deliver the people in general. And in the purport to that verse, Srila Prabhupada says Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has confirmed Haridas Thakur to be incarnation of Lord Brahma. So he's saying you have achieved your goal. You should reduce your number of rounds at this advanced age. And Haridas Thakur doesn't respond to that particular one, but he says, my Lord, I have a request for you. And he expresses his gratefulness that I'm born in this low Muslim family. I'm considered to be lowest and condemned. I'm considered to be untouchable. Some people, they don't even want to see me. But you kindly accepted me as your servant. And you raised me to this Vaikuntha planet. You have showed so much mercy on me that you gave me your association, accepted me as your servant. And he gives one example how Advaita Acharya gave him the Shraddha Patra. The Shraddha Patra, when for ancestors prasadam is offered, the forefathers, the first one is supposed to be given to a qualified Brahmana. But Haridas Thakur was not born in a Brahmana family. But Advaita Acharya recognized him to be the best of the Brahmanas. Because a pure devotee is greater than even the best of the Brahmanas. So Advaita Acharya made Haridas Thakur receive the Shraddha Patra. So Haridas Thakur is remembering that. And says, my Lord, I have one desire from long time. You are going to quit your pastimes very soon. And I do not wish to see your disappearance pastime. And therefore, I want to leave. And the way I want to leave is, I want to catch your lotus feet, put it on my heart, look at your moonlight face, and on my tongue, I want to chant Shri Krishna Chaitanya. And this is my desire. So he asks, please grant me this desire. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Krishna is merciful. He always executes your wishes. But consider this. The reason I am happy is because of your association. Without your association, how can I be happy? I need your association. And Haridas Thakur immediately catches the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he says, why are you creating this illusion for me? There's so many wonderful devotees. Not 10, not 100, not 1,000, not 100,000, millions of devotees. And all of these millions of devotees are fit to sit on my head. They are so advanced. And I'm nothing. I'm like an insignificant ant, like an insect. What loss will you feel if an insect dies? I'm like that, my Lord. Don't say me that you cannot be happy without my association. And furthermore, I'm just an imitation devotee. I don't have true devotion. I just pretend to be a devotee. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew the humility of Haridas Thakur and he had to do his afternoon Gayatri. So, and afternoon other duties. So he leaves and he returns the following day. And when he comes the next day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes with many other devotees. He asks, Haridas, what is the news? So it has hidden meaning. It's like, okay, we were having yesterday. And then Haridas Thakur simply says, whatever mercy you can give me. And the Lord knows that Haridas is about to leave. So when the Lord heard Haridas saying, whatever mercy you can give me, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began the chanting of the holy name. And all the devotees surrounded Haridas Thakur. They started chanting. Many devotees were mentioned, Vakreshwar Pandit, Ramananda Rai, Sarvabhauma Acharya. All these devotees were present. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorified Haridas Thakur, all the attributes of Haridas Thakur. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorifying Haridas Thakur, all the devotees were struck with wow. And they all offered their respects to Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur took the dust from the lotus feet of all the devotees present. And he put the dust of all the devotees on his head. And he took Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet and put it on his heart, just like he wanted it. The other day he asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he said, I want to see your moon-like face. So then he started looking at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's face. And it is described, he was looking as if he's drinking the nectar from the beautiful face of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And while looking at him, he kept on saying, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. And then tears were coming from his eyes. And as he was doing that, feet on the chest, glance on the face of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, eyes filled with tears, and Shri Krishna Chaitanya on his tongue. And with the dust of the devotees on his head, the life air left his body. What a wonderful passing. All his life he chanted the holy names of Krishna. And he knew Krishna is not different from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And with the last breath, he took the name of Shri Krishna Chaitanya and drank the nectar from the face of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And everybody went, Hari, Hari Bol. And Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the body of Haridas Thakur, raised it and placed it on his lap. He got up and then he began to dance with ecstatic love. And there was kirtan going on. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is holding his body in ecstasy. But then How long can they do this? Swarup Damodar Goswami, he takes care of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the senior most there. Even the Goswamis, 6 Goswamis take his guidance. Swarup Damodar Goswami tells, my Lord, now we have to perform other rituals for the body of Haridas Thakur. Then they bring something like a bed. They put Haridas Thakur body on it and they carry it to the sea. And while going, there's a big procession and the body is being taken to the sea. There's a big procession, everybody is chanting and dancing, loud chanting of the holy name going on, and Haridas Thakur's body is going in procession. And they went to the sea, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathed the body of Haridas Thakur in the sea. And Haridas Thakur pointed to the sea. Now, these waters that have bathed Haridas Thakur, from today, this has become a great pilgrimage site. And everyone, they drank the water that has touched the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur, because that will purify them. They got, after bathing Haridas Thakur's body, they brought sandalwood pulp, prasadam from Jagannath temple. They smeared it over Haridas Thakur's body, decorated his body with garlands, prasad, like some silken cloth, and all these things they decorated Haridas Thakur's body. And then there was a hole dug in the sand, and Haridas Thakur's body was placed in that sand. And the devotees went around and they performed the congregational chanting. After they placed the body in the hole, they did again kirtan. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu placed some dust into that pit. The platform was constructed around it. And then they placed the dust and other things and buried Haridas Thakur. And after that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the devotees, they took a bath in the sea. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went in front of Jagannath temple and he opened his cloth and he told everybody, today I'm begging for some prasadam to conduct the disappearance festival of Haridas Thakur. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally begged prasadam. And the shopkeepers all of them were devotees. They all loved Haridas Thakur. And when they saw Mahaprabhu doing this, they brought so much, please take this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu collected some and Swarup Damodar, he sent the Lord away and brought other devotees and collected all different varieties of prasadam. And then there was a big feast arranged. And other devotees also sent prasadam like Kashi Mishra. And all this Jagadananda Pandit, they all also supplied prasadam. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fed prasadam to everybody. And it is said he wanted them to eat so much that 5 people can eat. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was serving everybody that much prasadam. And the devotees, they asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to eat the prasadam. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also partook the prasadam. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave a benediction to everybody. He said, anyone who attended this festival, anyone who participated in the kirtana, chanting and dancing, anyone who put little bit sand in the pit of Haridas Thakur, and anyone who has accepted prasadam, they will all achieve favor of Krishna very soon. Just by attending the disappearance festival, he gave this blessing that you will all attain the favor of Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that Haridas, Krishna was so merciful to me that he gave me association of Haridas Thakur. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is feeling grateful that Krishna gave me association of Haridas. Now Krishna is independent. He has taken away the association of Haridas. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Haridas Thakur is so great that he's like Bhishma Dev. He decided when to leave, and that's when he left. And if you all remember from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhishma Dev, he did not die. He was on the bed of arrows for many days. And Krishna personally went in front of him. And by looking at Krishna's face, by glorifying Krishna, he offered prayers to Krishna. And looking at Krishna, drinking the nectar from the beautiful face of Krishna, Bhishma Dev left this world. And similarly, Haridas Thakur left this world by looking at the beautiful face of Haridas Thakur. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorified Haridas Thakur, and even Vrindavan Das Thakur also gives us the benediction that if we hear this story, that we will also get the favor of Krishna. He says, anyone who hears this pastime of disappearance of Haridas Thakur will certainly fix his mind firmly in devotional service to Krishna. We should have faith that we will be able to fix our mind on Krishna. By the mercy of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, by the mercy of Haridas Thakur, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whereas Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the benediction of those who were present at that time, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has extended that blessing, not only present at that time, but even if you hear this narration of what has happened, Krishna will be fixed in your mind. So we should be very grateful to Srila Prabhupada for giving us all these books so that we could hear these narrations that will help us in fixing our mind on Krishna. So I will stop here. I know we do not have much time, few minutes after 8 already. So if there is any comments or questions.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. I see but yeah, let me summarize, I think Prabhuji very wonderfully touched the power of the holy name for everyone. True strength is not the ability to fight back, but remain peaceful, forgiving, and focused in devotion. Humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, even when facing extreme physical abuses that we learn from this, today's story of Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur life also teaches us that deep connection with the divine is possible anywhere, anytime, even though he is not allowed to enter the temple. And best way to change others is not through criticism, but the power of our own example, compassion, and forgiveness. Thank you, Prabhuji. So yeah, Prabhuji, I see one question on the class. Aruni Mataji. Hare Krishna, was Haridas Thakur body buried under the sand by the Ganges?
His body is buried near the sea. Near the sea, Jagannath Puri, near the sea, the body is buried.
So one question I have, Prabhuji, how did he got, means who named him Haridas? I know he was a Muslim, right? So who named him the Haridas Thakur,
That's a very good question. I don't know exactly, but I have heard in some cases saying Advaita Acharya is his spiritual master.
Because you were saying he didn't accept anyone as spiritual master. That was thinking, who Haridas Thakur.
Yeah, so I'm not sure where, but the fact that Advaita Acharya is his spiritual master, one possibility is it could have been given by Advaita Acharya, but I don't know the exact answer. As I said, little is known about his history before he met Advaita Acharya. Yeah.
Dear devotees, if you have any other question, please feel free to unmute yourself or post in the chat.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Lord Srinivas, Acharya Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance. Bhagavad Gita Prabhupada.
My humble obeisance. Jai Shri.
Thank you so much for this class. Thank you for the opportunity to hear this narration. As you said, that any person who hears it already receives so much mercy. So I'm so grateful to you for finding this time to do it. I was wondering, like, after reading I got right now the name of the book. Anyway, I don't remember right now the good name of the book, but it was mentioned that we should worship Haridas Thakur. We should. So, what is the way of how we can worship him as well, or how we can, follow in his footsteps? If you could kindly.
Yeah, as I mentioned,
Thank you so much.
we can take inspiration from how Haridas Thakur has performed his sadhana. Every day in the temple or at home, when we do Prema Dhvani, after doing Arati, after Kirtan, there's something called Prema Dhvani, and we pay respect to Haridas Thakur, right in Mangalarati. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. So every day we remember him. After every Arati, we remember him. So even before chanting, we can pray to Haridas Thakur that he may give us mercy, blessings to chant attentive rounds, like Haridas Thakur has done. And like Srila Prabhupada has mentioned, we should follow his example, not imitate him. But whatever number of rounds that we have fixed for those who are initiated, minimum 16, and any number of rounds someone may have taken a vow to do, like Haridas Thakur, we need to make sure we finish them before certain time. And we can also pray for the other characteristics that he had, to be humble, to be forgiving. Prayers are very powerful, very, very powerful. Prayers are powerful and acharyas are merciful. So by taking shelter of this powerful prayer in our own way, by seeking their mercy, acharyas will give us their blessings. And by remembering them on days like this, that will help us to observe the appearance and disappearance day of acharyas is important for this reason. Because when they come into our consciousness, Krishna will also come.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Anyone else? Any other question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. This is Shama Gopal Prabhu. Thank you very much for the class. I had heard about this when Haridas Thakur he departed from this earth, right? So Mahaprabhu actually had a feast kind of atmosphere there. Right? Not he was crying also and also feast. So can you little bit put a more
Sorry, I didn't get the
So
last
he,
couple of.
I think I had heard that Mahaprabhu he asked every shopkeeper to close down their shop and whatever they had cooked, everything he bought for the feast, and then he fed everyone that feast, and he was so ecstatic that he fed up to the neck to many of these people, right? So,
Yes,
oh,
yes,
means he was happy and he was sad also, right? At that time. So how?
yes. So the in the Vedic system, the disappearance is also celebrated because his passing is glorious, right? Like Bhishma did. So the devotee is going to take part in the pastimes of the Lord in a different way. So therefore, disappearance and appearance both are a matter of celebration, but at the same time, it's a mixed situation. Why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sad? For one reason. That reason is, I cannot get the association of Haridas Thakur. But for Haridas Thakur, he's going back to Krishna, so there's no reason to be sad. for Haridas Thakur. So therefore, these appearance and disappearances must be celebrated. And you're right, as I mentioned briefly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally begged for the prasadam. You see, he was personally present with the Haridas Thakur. He carried the body. He bathed Haridas Thakur. He was part of, getting it, the pit ready and putting the sand and then collecting the feast and then feeding the devotees. See, Haridas Thakur is a sannyasi, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed all the duties, like everything that's required. And I can't think of any other example like this, where the Lord himself has performed all the last rites. From the point of being personally present when you are leaving the body, to the point of building a tomb and doing the feast. I mean, such a glory. At least I don't know of any other example like this, right? The Lord personally doing. How glorious Haridas Thakur is. And yes, he did feed them, as I mentioned, 5 times one person eats. He fed them.
Yeah.
You have to take, this is Haridas festival's prasadam. Why is prasadam important? Because of the significance of it being offered to the Lord. And now this is made in the glory, this is in the glory of Haridas Thakur. So meaning that accepting of prasadam is also their expression of devotion to Haridas Thakur. And in that mood, they accepted this prasadam. Right? From a mundane perspective, it may seem, oh, you're enjoying. But for them, it is the prasadam of Haridas Thakur. They drank the water that bathed Haridas Thakur. They smeared the dust that Haridas Thakur was in on their bodies. And they ate that prasadam in honor of Haridas Thakur. That's the mood they consumed it. Not in the mood of, let's enjoy. Right? As it happens in the material. I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
So there's one more question. What is the difference between Ek Dandi and Three Dandi?
So, Eka means 1, 3 means 3. The Mayavadi sannyasis, they carry Ekadanda, signifying that I am one with God. Therefore, I am God. And Tridandi sannyasis, it means through body, through mind, and through words, they are surrendering their life to Krishna. Like in Nectar of Instruction, we have the 6 urges, and those 6 are divided into 3 urges. The body, the mind, and the words. 1, 2, 3. Words is 1, and then the mind is 2, which is attachment, anger, and the body is 3, which is the tongue, belly, and genitals. So these 3 groups, the 3 dandas represent the 3 urges. They will be controlled, and with all of the body, mind, and words, the sannyasi offers himself to Krishna. So that's the significance of what danda they carry.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So last question I have, Prabhuji, like I know, like Haridas Thakur, his life was glorious. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him all that session, and but I just want to understand, like he born in the low family of Muslim, right? So what does that signify,
Yeah, that's a good question. I can only answer this based on what I have heard from some senior devotees. I haven't read this personally. I cannot give reference of which book. That Haridas Thakur, in the pastime of Lord Brahma stealing the cows of Krishna, he felt sad that he had committed an offense. So he wanted to atone for what he has done. And the Lord blessed him to take part in his pastimes at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But at the same time, taking this humble position as an atonement to whatever external pride that we may have seen when he is trying to test Krishna's strength. Krishna's mystic powers and his mystic powers. He stole everybody and Krishna manifested more. So he felt for that offense he wanted to atone. And through this process, he has taken most insignificant position in the eyes of the materialistic people by taking birth in a Muslim family.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for this wonderful class. And I'd like to thank all the devotees who joined this today class. So, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Bhayevcha, Amnebhyo. And Prabhuji, with your permission, can I close the class, end the class?
Yes, again, thank you very much, Ishwar Krishna Prabhu, and all the devotees who are present here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Vaishnavibhyo Namo.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.